What's poppin', people? It's Dante, getting my morning started here along the Schuylkill River Trail. Check it out. We've got some construction, the Comcast Tower, the Pico Building, 30th Street Station, and apparently word on the street is they're building some sort of area across the river where they will have a public pool and some sort of beach. Check it out, we got some beer on the stairs. A traditional lager, Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. I actually believe this comes from Pennsylvania, to my knowledge. I think I saw a billboard for that beer. Why is beer bad? I think most times I've ever drank beer in the past, even while on my fitness journey and really grinding in the gym, I've never seen results. Like, I think that even if you have 1 or 2 beers on the weekend, you know, not even that frequently, whatever it does to your body with all of the carbohydrates and junk that's inside of it, it definitely doesn't help when you're trying to become physically strong and beautiful. I actually think that beer, yeah, maybe it lowers your testosterone and it makes you ugly. And I think actually hedonistic pleasures like beer, I think that they become this crutch for people where they rely on this thing to get them through the week, right? It's like, oh, you know, after work, let's have the cold one and unwind because today was really stressful. And I think that's what becomes the biggest problem, in my opinion. And actually, the other day while walking by this restaurant, this guy was like, oh, this is the only thing that gets me through the day, man. It's the only thing that gets me over the heartbreak or something. I heard him as I walked by and I was like, damn. And maybe that's the big problem here, you know? Good morning, bro. It's a good, what do you call it? Acoustics. Under here. See ya. I forgot the word. Yeah, that guy didn't want to talk. It's okay. It's all good. I can make my own music. Yeah, I think music shapes our culture, and a lot of modern music, yeah, maybe you can just let the AI do it, you know? A lot of the modern songs these days, you know, can we just make those songs with AI now? And like, I feel like that's the thing. It's like most of the music, it's so monotonous and draining of your energy in a way, I feel. And most lyrics these days in songs are just emo and boring and basic at best. So yeah, maybe the sounds of the birds is a better orchestra to listen to. And so yeah, maybe a lot of things can just be done by AI at this point. Thoughts on slavery? Yeah, maybe we should just make the robots our slaves, you know? When I see a lot of these dog owners and people walking around with their pets, you know, it oftentimes feels as though we're treating these things like our little slaves on the leash. You know, they kind of just, honestly, it's almost both ways, right? The person, the owner themselves become enslaved to this animal as well, you know, following it around. It's almost like I see a lot of dog owners, their dogs control them. You know, maybe the owner is the slave to the dog. For a lot of the times, these dogs are pulling them along and they're just following the dog around, it seems, you know. What's weird about the city is I mean, it almost just feels like nothing's happening. Like, I understand we're building a big condo, right? You know, inside the Giant in this grocery store, there's a little robot that goes around and like notifies the workers, clean up this spill. Well, maybe one day the robot will just do it as well. And so, yeah, in offices where most things that are occurring involve data, you know, analytics, and just like shifting things around, moving data around, communicating via email or Zoom. You know, a lot of the things that we do in cities, you know, even working in these banks, you know, working for these media corporations like Comcast. To me, it feels like work that a drone, work that a robot can and will do. Even thinking of lawyers, most doctors, you know, what does the doctor do? You know, the doctor like listens to your heart. You know, they make you sit there for an hour and wait for someone to listen to your heart and like breathe in and breathe out. And I mean, I feel like maybe the only doctors that are worthy of our attention are surgeons, people that will actually cure you or treat you in some capacity. You know, but you can utilize artificial intelligence to understand and dive deeper into your symptoms and consult about law. You know, maybe intelligence it's merely artificial. You know, I find that the intelligence, you know, sort of just thinking of artificial intelligence, right? I mean, you can pretty much learn and understand anything now. You know, why slave away at the books other than for personal enjoyment? You know, I think that maybe most things that are taught in school, most things that are done in the workplace, I mean, these things can merely be replaced from artificial intelligence. And that's kind of a crazy place to be in the world, right? This is a strange time in history, I believe, where maybe going forward, humanity will have to return to the physical nature of life itself, where we are becoming much more immersed in these digital places. You know, even think of the doctor, right? They just type in, do you drink alcohol? No. Do you do this? No. Are you sad? No. Are you hurting? No. It's like, well, what is the function of these like places and systems? And, you know, everything just seems so bureaucratic. It's like just all data. I mean, when you're born, what occurs, right? You're assigned a social security number. Okay, I'm ready to pay taxes. You know, and by the way, doc, I'm unemployed right now. I just popped out. Can I get my benefits? You know, you get your social security number right away. You know, you're assigned this birth certificate with your name, the day you were born. You know, it's kind of this funny thing. It's like, am I just a number in this system where I am assigned these numbers? Then you work a job, you get a payroll number. You know, it seems like you go to the DMV, you're just a number. You know, all these bureaucratic systems are kind of amusing to me, to say the least. And the funny thing about a city is people on the street kind of just bother you. You know, the people that actually communicate, right, with their words, with their language, trying to speak and communicate with you, it's never just somebody that wants to talk about any, like just the day or, you know, something normal. It's always someone that's pestering you to you know, sign this sign this form, you know. And a lot of the times, sometimes you can't even tell if these people are legit or not. You know, they got the people out there going for registration, you know, register to vote. I understand these people, but then there's like guys that go up and they try to get you to just sign, like, just sign, I just need you to sign this. I need you to sign this. Put your signature down. You'll help me out a lot. And then it's just like, well, what, dude, hi, how are you? You know, can you like communicate with me like I'm an actual human being, you know, with a soul? Or am I just a signature? Am I just a number? Like, am I just your robot? You know, I find it's funny too, where we become so detached from the physical and humanity and, you know, physical people and biological beings, like our people, right? Human people, that we have this like new religion and this like new appreciation or adoration of the dog. Like, I've been passing by these typically Trader Joe's, like vegan stores, like these health, whatever, like weird, like organic tomato place, or just some like weird vegetable or salad place. And they always have, lately, this table outside and this person asking you, hey, do you want to sign up? And like, they always have like an iPad. They just like want your credit card. they want your number. They want your credit card number so that you will sort of just like support them every month and give them a payment for dogs on Paul Row or something, or death row. It's like dogs that are dying, and they want to like get money so that they can give these dogs like cancer treatments and surgical treatments and things. It's like, it looks as though we're starting to care more about the animals, like the dogs that we domesticate and enslave, more than the people. And it's a little bit alarming. I mean, I just find it amusing, that's all. Dogs on death row. It was like dogs on Paul Row, some sort of thing like that, you know. And then you have the Planned Parenthood and my favorite thing, and my favorite group that's out there on the streets that just sort of just chill, are the Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, I remember growing up, one of my cousins lived in South Philadelphia, and they had and we come from a Catholic family, and they had a sign on their door that says, you know, no Jehovah's Witnesses, like don't knock, right? Like don't bother us, basically. And you know, because at that time, years and years ago, the Jehovah's Witnesses would just come up to your door, knock on your door, and just sort of bother you. Now in the city, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they stand there, they smile, they greet you. You know, they don't ask you for anything. The Jehovah's Witnesses are the best people. I actually sometimes just have regular conversations with these people because they're not trying to bother you. They're just standing there with their Bible course and just the word or just whatever. And they're just smiling and waving and telling people to have a great day. And it's just like, oh, that's refreshing amongst the masses. And yeah, I have a newfound respect for them as they just sort of do their thing. They just chill. They don't bother no one. They just sit, and they're everywhere too, you know. But it's kind of refreshing after all the madness. And so, with all this said, this is the reason why I come to this, you know, trail every morning. This is the reason why I come and, you know, spend time alone in nature for the majority of the beginning of the day. It's because I can't go into the city right away. You know, these cities they're just big mazes. You know, these grids, this big maze, there's these tall looming buildings. It just feels like you're trapped. But when I walk in nature on my own, I listen to the sounds and enjoy the fresh air. It's just a way better way to start the day. I could never imagine just getting the day started and just, let's go get some street photos. Let's go. I want to get the morning rush. I could care less. You know, it's like I'll wait until the second half of the day. You know, it's like, I think one of the biggest benefits of photographing this way now, where I'm just sort of snapshotting my way through life and treating it more like this personal diary kind of thing, it's much more liberating, where I'm not constrained to only photographing people like I would in the past. You know, I would typically, yeah, I would just only photograph people, only look for those candid moments. Yeah, but now with my newfound process, I find much more appreciation to photographing the landscape and various things, and it certainly enhances my process, and I appreciate it much more. You know, where I can walk anywhere and always find something to photograph. You know, I'm not reliant on the chaos of the city, but I can also walk in tranquil nature and catch the sunrise. It's starting to peer over the horizon, I can see. And so yeah, I think what I love about coming to these spaces is I get to escape the noise pollution of the city. You know, the chaos, the screaming, the homelessness, you know, all of the noises of traffic and all of these things. You know, you can escape that and avoid all of this pollution, right? There's just so much air pollution. Oh, there's the sunrise. And I find that being in nature, right, there's just clean, fresh air. I mean, it's obvious, right? I don't want to be breathing in these toxic fumes all day. However, here in the West, right, in the United States, you know, we have much cleaner air than places I've been in the past. Thinking of my time in Mumbai, I mean, when you looked up at the sky during the sunrise or sunset, it didn't look like the sunrise here. You know, they had this orange tint, or this like smoggy tint that covered the atmosphere, you know, where it looked way like the light quality, the air quality in Mumbai, India. Yeah, I don't think I would want to breathe that in all year round, you know. It's very dirty. When you're in these markets, imagine spending the majority of your day there, right? I feel similarly even being here in Philadelphia. I couldn't imagine myself spending the majority of the day walking around the grid and being this little rat in a maze. And just like, yeah, it kind of gets old after a while. But I think the good thing about practicing street photography in this particular city is that the streets are so accessible and familiar after you walk the same lane every day, where you recognize this route to take and you sort of just repeat the route 2 times and you're done, right? You don't have to run around the city all day. What's great about Philly is it's small enough where you really can do 2 laps, 3 laps, however many laps you want to do, and just move on. It's like, there is a structure to shooting in Philly that is satisfying, because the ground that you can cover is diverse and there's these different pockets and streets, but it's not like this infinite, like think of New York City where it's like infinite. Like you could just be running around New York, like where do I go next? Like, but Philly, you can conquer Philly in a day, you know, for the most part, at least Center City, Old City. You could even go to South Philly. You can kind of, the major hot spots, right, you can hit in an afternoon, in a few hours, you know, even an hour, a half an hour. You know, like, it's, to me, it's to the point with photography, like there should be no excuses to finding time to photograph, especially with the advent of compact cameras and this kind of technology, right? Where all you have to do is throw the camera in your pocket and wake up before the sunrise. Look at this groundhog. You know, and I think that when you're into street photography, you know, of course you want to go out there and photograph people, but you don't have to every day. But the great thing about Philly is that it's so easy to, you know, there's limited ground to cover, and you can cover it very quickly and efficiently. And I think this is the beauty of practicing street photography in this city. It really is easy. And while the route that you can find and the city itself makes it easy, as you can just step into the arena, step onto the grid, and just, you know, get your shots in for the day. Of course, street photography is difficult, right? It requires repetition, it requires time, it requires you to go out there each and every day, right? I believe in this, because if you get off of the bike for a while, you know, of course you can hop back on, and you know how it works and all of that. But when you're photographing daily, you just stay in this spirit of play, in this state of production, this great place to be, where you really do enter a zen zone, in the flow. And I frankly can't get myself to stop, because I just always find something. I always know that there's potential to photograph. You know, there's something about that abundance and that feeling. And I certainly get this feeling while walking to this location every day here along the Schuylkill River, visiting this elevated surface. You know, quite literally coming to this elevated space, you know, I feel like it elevates my human spirit. We got some tequila blanco, baby. Somebody drank an entire bottle of beer. They've got some other thing, some wine, and what is this, whiskey or something? I mean, I would throw this stuff out, but there's too many. Don Julio tequila. Haha, they're partying, man. Yeah, maybe everyone got drunk last night on Friday night, because there's not a soul in sight. Yeah, what are all these beverages? Pineapple soda, artificially flavored. Yeah, maybe that's what holds a lot of people back from achieving any fitness goals. It's kind of just in the liquids. Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's in the liquids, it's in the carbs, it's in all these sugars. I think those are, it's like elimination diet, right? You know, while I do the carnivore diet, I think just think of it as like eliminating all of the toxins, all of the bad things. You know, I think it's pretty simple to achieve. I mean, this is just like, I mean, we are on decline. Like, our culture, our society, it's on decline. Like, there's a trash can right there, and you just get drunk and just like, what, a Faygo? What is this, a fruit punch soda pack? Like, what are these? Are just like sodas. So they were, okay, so they were using these sodas and mixing it with the tequila that's found over there. I'm sure that was the deal. We got some Russian cream, good times. They got lots of chips, you know, and all this kind of junk. And maybe because we're all filling up on all this junk and all this toxic sludge in our bellies, yeah, it's inevitable that the culture too will become toxic and degenerate over time. Yeah, maybe there's something about the things that we consume, whether it is music, food, media, all of these things truly influence and impact the human spirit. But as an artist, we can uplift it to new heights through our perspective, and by treating this world as a playground for us to explore. You know, just embracing our childlike curiosity with the camera. You know, I think that there is value to photography, and that value is that it affirms your life. know, the ultimate value of photography is that it affirms your life. It gives you something to do. It fills the void, if you will. And it allows you to avoid all of the toxic things like we have just witnessed here, you know. So it's like, yeah, what a better way to start the day than visiting this space, catching the sunrise, surrounding myself with beauty, and trying with the best of my ability to ignore the ugly. That's kind of the goal with me coming here. I can't walk on that grid right away. There's no shot in hell.